Hi, welcome everyone. Welcome to our very first Season of Creation Challenge talk. And we are live streaming on Facebook at the Franciscan Institute's page. Right, so this is our first episode and we are going to share more on the topic of engaging youths. And for those who may not know, my name is Annalisa Ramsahai and I am the Regional Program Coordinator for the Franciscan Institute for Personal and Family Development. It is a ministry of the Sisters of the Sorrowful Mother. And we have two very special guests with us. Our director, Sister Julie Marie Peters of the Franciscan Institute, and Joachim Wilson for Caritas YEAC Grenada. And the Franciscan Institute has taken this initiative because we are a registered international partner for the Season of Creation. And we're really happy to join you today and to work together to raise awareness and to mobilize people, especially young people of the Caribbean region, in celebrating this Season of Creation month. For our viewers here today, the Season of Creation is a special time, a very special time for Christians throughout the world to renew their relationships with God, our Creator, and with all of His creation. So when we share about all of His creation, we are talking about ourselves, others, other humans as well, the earth, which includes the plants, animals, air, water, soil, and so forth. And the Season of Creation month began on September the 1st, which is the World Day of Prayer for Creation. And it ends on October the 4th, which is the feast day of St. Francis of Assisi, our patron saint for ecology. And I would just like to share on the theme for this year's Season of Creation, which is Jubilee for the Earth, New Rhythms, New Hope. And for our viewers who I just want to share a little history of how we started at the Institute celebrating Season of Creation month. So in 2008 and in 2018 and 2019, during the Season of the Creation month, the Institute started to engage others, especially youths in the Caribbean, in Trinidad, Grenada, and St. Lucia. And in Trinidad, we did a Season of Creation school challenge. But this year, given the COVID pandemic, we have adjusted to have an online Season of Creation challenge. And we're inviting persons from schools, from youth groups, from parishes in Trinidad and Tobago, as well as Grenada and St. Lucia. And that's why we have two very special guests. Sister Julie, who is based in Rome and at birth she's Grenadian. And we have Joachim Wilson, who's also from Grenada, joining. Welcome. So let's start with Joachim. Joachim, can you share more about yourself and the group that you represent today? Hi, Joachim, I believe we're not hearing you.
Exactly.
There you go.
You hear me?
Yes, thank you.
My name is Joachim Wilson. I'll be representing the about me, science, related.
Joachim, I'm sorry, you're breaking up.
Share just to promote.
Hi, Joachim, I believe we missed your introduction. Would you be able to share again? Thank you.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Oh, sorry about that. So I'm still muted since the connection is poor. I'll just speak.
Sure.
Okay, so good afternoon again, and thank you for having me on this talk, Anna. And good afternoon, viewers, wherever you're tuning in from. My name is Joachim, and today I'll be representing Caritas / the Emergency Action Committee, Grenada. I'll tell you more about the program later on, but I'm happy to be here to share on the theme and fully endorse this initiative.
Thank you, Joachim. So, Sister Julie, thank you for joining us from Rome today. Would you be able to share more about yourself and what your institute and congregation do to engage youths? Thank you.
Well, wanted to say good evening, well, good lunchtime to everybody. First of all, the sisters have always worked with youth, whether it was through school education or even through healthcare. But the sisters are very involved. We have sisters who have been involved in youth ministry in various dioceses at various levels. But we do all other kinds of work. We are an international congregation, so we do all kinds of work throughout the world, wherever we are, in the countries where we are, with youth. But to take it down particularly to what we're doing now in terms of the season of creation, because we are Franciscans, creation is very, very important to us as Franciscans. But apart from that, along with being Franciscans, if our emphasis is full of life for others and our emphasis is working with the poor, there is no getting away. We cannot ignore creation. So even if we were not Franciscans, but our emphasis was working with the poor, we had to take on creation, because to the degree that creation is degraded, to the degree that creation is in crisis, the poor are also in crisis. And we see that very clearly now. So we would like to engage young people in this process with us. And we have been doing that through the season of creation by making it a school challenge, by having children participate in whatever ways they can participate. Even last year, we had a young child, maybe about 5 years old, be the presenter, the main presenter at our season of creation award ceremony. And it's not only to raise awareness, but it's to help young people take up the challenge that is in the scriptures. The first challenge we have is to take care of creation, starting with the book of Genesis. We are given creation as a gift, and this gift that we have given carries with it, we can say, 2 responsibilities. To admire it and love it. When you're given a gift, what are you asked to do? You're asked to be gracious and grateful for it. And then the second part of that is to be responsible. All of us, the gifts that we love most that we've been given, we find ourselves showing our love for it by being responsible. We take care of it. We don't want to put it down anywhere. If somebody gives us a wonderful phone, we don't want to put it any place. We always want to have it on our person. We want to know that it's secure. We want to know. So it's the same thing with creation. It's a gift that has been given to us, and we really want to take care of it. One, to show our gratitude to the giver, to God the giver. And secondly, to really enjoy it, because when something is given to you as a gift, the giver wants you to enjoy it. So we want to be able to enjoy and bask in creation. And in order to do that, we have to preserve it. So we want to get the people who will be most affected by it involved in it. Because creation is not ours, it's everybody's. It's not mine, it's not yours, it's everybody's. And that is what the Holy Father is trying to say to us. It's our common home. It's nobody's private property.
You bring up a very good point, sister. And if, from what I've recognized, you and Joachim has been so involved in your community, with your country, and in serving. And it brings up the discussion on volunteering. And can you share, Joachim, about volunteering, especially how you started, and how did you engage your peers to do this service in volunteering as well? Hi, Joachim, are you there? So as we wait for Joachim to connect, we have
Hey,
also...
I'm here. I'm not hearing you so clearly, but I'm here.
Sure. Hi, Joachim. So the question was, we took a deeper look, especially in service and volunteering for KF creation. And I would like to ask, how have you been engaged in volunteering and engaging your youth, especially your peers, in doing the service for your community and country? I believe you have some...
Okay. Yes. So I'm having some delay in my connection here, so sorry about that. So let me just talk a bit about the program so you understand what the YEAC is about. So it's a regional youth program coordinated by Caritas Antilles, regionally, but in Grenada it's coordinated by Caritas Grenada. And we train young persons and engage them in disaster management related issues, as well as to a lesser extent, but still significant, climate change resilience. They're trained in different areas like first aid, life search and rescue, emergency communication, and initial damage assessment and other training. And they also engage in fun activities like survival training, which they did recently, and even working with other groups to do cleanups. And they have one tomorrow in the south of the island. That's just it in a nutshell. I could say much more, but that's it in a nutshell.
That's great, Joachim. Sister Julie, can you share about volunteering and engaging, especially the youths in volunteering?
Well, I think one of the things we don't give youths credit for is the passion to make a difference. And sometimes all they need is an invitation, a cause, a reason. And I think we need to do much more invitation, asking youths, inviting youths, and having enough trust in them to know that they are capable, to know that they themselves are motivated to make a difference. And they may not want to do it our way, but they also have their way. And we should try as older persons and as church organizations to really empower that, to allow them to share their ideas. And to me, I see myself, and I encourage older people to be a facilitator for them. Not to tell them what to do, not to make them do what I want them to do, how I want them to do it, but to work out a common goal. And there are many ways at reaching a common goal, right? There are many ways of reaching a common goal. So I think that is how we, to show them some respect, to allow them to be creative, to allow them to bring their ideas to the table, because their concerns and our concerns are really the same. If you're talking climate change, you're talking things that would affect them. You know, Joachim just mentioned disaster management. Well, I mean, for you to be aware of disaster management, committed to disaster management, you also have to be committed to working to preserve the climate, to you know, mitigate whatever you can mitigate in terms of climate change, because there is a correlation and a relationship between the state of the environment and disaster. We see that with hurricanes. We see that now. We've seen that now with the fires in California, for instance. You know, that started because of lightning or you know, in the scare. So those kinds of things. So I think is to trust young people enough to know that they have something to give and to encourage them to give it. To encourage them to give it. Sometimes I think we falsely believe that young people are lazy. That's not true. I don't believe that. I believe that what we have to offer them is not enticing enough, or is not purposeful enough. They're not seeing the purpose behind it. You know, I think there is a philosopher who said, once there is a why, then we work out anyhow. Once there is a why, once there is a purpose, we find the methods to get to that purpose and do it. So I would like to encourage the young people who are listening to come forward. Don't always wait for an invitation, right? Life is reciprocal. So yes, we have the responsibility to invite you, but you have the responsibility to offer. Right? You have to be willing to discover your own gifts, and we have to be willing to give you the opportunity for you to flourish in your giftedness. But you have to come and say, I have this gift, I have this longing, I have this desire. You need to challenge your organizations. You need to challenge your parish. You need to challenge your parents. You need to challenge the adults that live around you and say, I would like to do this.
I really love that.
Share your dream, and we'll help you make your dream come true.
I really love that sharing, Sister Julie. And from your experience, you work internationally, and it does not only apply to Grenada or Trinidad, it applies to everywhere. And this is a really positive word of encouragement to get youths to become engaged, to really take up that challenge and challenge their organization, their parish, their school, their country, to get involved and to volunteer and to provide a service for their country. Now, I know that you are well familiar with working at the Franciscan Institute because you're the director, Sister Julie, and Joachim have been involved in so many of the activities in Grenada of what the Sisters of Sorrowful Mother would have been doing. So just to share with you, at the Franciscan Institute, our mission is dedicated to promoting a culture of peace, and where right relationships and community are nurtured in the Franciscan tradition of compassion and moderation and simplicity, and especially reverence for all of creation. And in hearing both of you, Joachim and Sister Julie, and I'm really sorry that Giovanna is not able to connect with us today because she's having some challenges with her internet connection. Giovanna is from the 868 Save the Earth Environmental Club for Holy Name Convent, Port of Spain in Trinidad. But Sister Julie and Joachim, right, I understand that your involvement is building the right relationship, building relationship with the organizations that you are with. You know, how has this helped with your personal growth as a person?
You want me to answer that, or you want Joachim to go first?
Joachim? Thanks, Sister Julie.
Hey, Anna, yes. All right, so I took him to the YEAC program back in 2014, and I would have done the training for the few examples I've shared and many more, too many to list now. But some of the most notable moments for me were back in 2015 when I was selected to represent the YEAC, the Grenada YEAC, as well as the Grenada and a wider in the Bahamas at CDMA's next CDM conference. So that would have given me a wider perspective and understanding of how disaster management is perceived in the region and measures taken to advance its scope and get more persons involved. Because disasters don't wait on anyone, and they no respect of countries. Look at what happened in the Bahamas last year. So yeah, so that was a real turning point for me, and yeah, that, and then I did some training with other organizations, but through the YEAC program, like mass casualty management, which was done by PAHO, and community emergency response team, which our main stakeholder, our national disaster agency, NADMA, would have played an integral role in putting together and moving out. So all these different training and opportunities would have helped me to grow in my understanding of disaster management and increase my capacities to give back and to share what I would have learned over the years.
Thank you, Joachim. Thank you for sharing. Sister Julie?
Well, I can say, thank God, I have grown in my relationship with myself by just listening to youth, because you know, when you are in interaction with other people, they are like a mirror. You know, when you look in a mirror, you only see yourself. When other people mirror you back to you, you see more than yourself. And I've learned to listen. I have learned to really appreciate the giftedness of young people. And as a result of that, one of the programs we have at the Institute is allowing young people to volunteer, to come there and volunteer and find themselves, you know. Out of that, again, I have seen a lot happening. I remember a girl came, she did an art therapy course, and because she's a fine artist and thought she would go into that. No, she's a medical doctor. She went to do something else. Another one came, you know, she shadowed me. She did some workshops in the various schools with me, and now she's in Budapest. She lives in Budapest. She has done her master's degree in psychology, and then she decided that she was going to special education with psychology, and she's done that, you know. So there are people. Another one came, and now she's a vet. She also wanted to do psychology, but she really liked animals, and again, working with the Institute and seeing our emphasis in terms of creation, all of creation, that piqued her interest, and she did some more research there. So I have grown in, when I look at young people search for themselves, you know, even though I'm older, we never stop searching. There is always more to us. They may do it with more energy now than possibly I do it. But at the same time, it says to me that we never close shop. You know, we continue to grow in different dimensions of our lives, you know, and as they search for their spiritual life, I grow in my spiritual life because I am helping helping them to search likewise. And as I help them to search, I have to dig deeper in myself. And I'm always grateful for that. I have never planned something for young people that I did not ask them about. Ask them, what do you think is the best theme? What do you think is the best approach? I remember asking a young man, I had to set up a vocation booth, and I asked this young man, I said, if you have to go to a vocation booth, what would you like to see? And he told me, not plenty writing. I want to see what you're all about. I want to see what you're all about. You're a Franciscan, so I want to see water. I want to see plants. And I remember I had to go looking for somebody who could put up a fountain for me, which I did. But it was his idea. And believe it or not, up to today, we use this model. We bring plants, we bring the St. Francis statue, and we put up more things than we put written things up. And that was his idea. So I think listening to youth has really helped me grow. Listening to their search has kept my search alive. Well, I have energy, they have energy, they have energy. So, so far, so that's really good. That's really good. And I've learned to be patient. I've learned to be patient. You don't only learn by your successes. You learn what is good and what are your gifts by your successes. But you really become a person of character, a human being of real worth when you learn from your mistakes. And I always tell parents that, what? Yes, they will make a mistake. Yes, we don't want them to make a mistake that will jeopardize their life for life, but they have to learn from their mistakes.
True, you're so right, Sister Julie. And we're just winding down on time. And this last question to both of you. We are all going through a challenging time given this COVID pandemic. And many youths are home, many youths feel stifled in some way that they can't express themselves, especially going outside and interacting and socializing. So what are some lessons that you have learned and you would like to share for our viewers here today, especially the youths? What are some tips that you'd encourage them to continue doing their work, or some tips to volunteer as well? Joachim?
Okay, so they can find out and look for relevant community groups and clubs in the country, and see how they can get involved. Speak to the leaders, speak to whoever is coordinating it, and try and get involved. And they too should seek to be leaders themselves. But just like Sister Julie said, the young man shared what he wanted to be a part of. And so, as young persons, you see things happening in the world and you want to change, and you want it to be changed. So, but it wouldn't happen just like that. You have to, it takes some influence, it takes some working towards. So, young persons have to be ambitious and look for opportunities where they can effect change and make things happen.
Thank you, Joachim. Well
Also,
said.
oh, sorry, I wasn't.
Go ahead.
Just two more. They have to learn and open up their understanding to what's happening in the world, especially with the climate change in the environment and other threats. And no more than ever before, you have the virtual learning platforms where persons could learn almost anything from home. So they have to go to a university also, but just tap into our website or use YouTube and to learn so much. And finally, they should be willing to share what they learned and do so in a fun and creative way. And even persons who are physically challenged, they can also get involved. So even if they can go out there and do stuff in the community, but using the virtual means like social media and other platforms, they too can be a part of it. So these are just some of the things I would like to share to encourage young persons to get involved.
I really like those ideas, Joachim, and it has been an inspiration on the work that you and YEAC have been doing in Grenada, and I've been following you on Instagram, and it's tremendous work. I wish that I could be there in Grenada to join you tomorrow with your group on doing this beach cleanup as we celebrate International Coastal Cleanup Day on September the 15th. And in Trinidad, our beaches are closed, unfortunately, but we really would join you in spirits tomorrow and the organization as you do this tremendous work on caring for the environment. Sister Julie, can you share on what are some tips that you would like to share for the youth today?
Well, I would literally say there are three things. There are three things to look at. One, relationship with self is really important. Reaching out to other people is really important. And your faith, we can't leave out the faith dimension. So I want to start by showing my own story. The first week of COVID, you know, Italy was the worst in the world. Hit first. I mean, now America and Brazil and India is taking it over, but we were bad. And the first week of it, when we were on the lockdown, and all I heard was just sirens, because I live within 3 hospitals, the distance between 3 hospitals. Siren, siren, siren. I said, I can't make that. I really can't take it. I went outside and I started to feel sorry for myself. I wanted to be back home in Grenada. I wanted to be out of Italy. And I knew that's not me. I am not a feel sorry for yourself person. And I thought, Julie, no, you have to learn a lesson out of this. So change this pattern of feeling sorry for yourself. The feeling sorry for yourself, to be honest with you, did not even last 3 days. I came inside, I got my camera, went outside, and I started to take pictures. And I started to pray about it. And I said, God, let me find pictures of hope. And I said, if you want me to share it with people during this COVID time, direct me to do it. And I have done that. I have done that. And that really, really brought joy. And it also brought to me gratitude. Gratitude. I once read, you can never find an unhappy person that is grateful. All grateful persons are happy, and all happy persons are grateful. And I think gratitude comes out of reaching out to other people. Because when we reach out, we receive, but we also give. We have something to be grateful for, to be given, and something to be grateful for in receiving. Then we can't fight God. We're not the creator. We are creatures, and we have to live within the space of faith. I learned very quickly during that pandemic time, I can't tell God what to do. I have to work with what God has given me. Because let me tell you, if you try to fight God, you start out with a losing battle. Why do you want to engage in a losing battle? So your faith, you know, and pray in your style. Pray in your style. Let me tell you, pray in your style. If you're fed up being home, tell God you're fed up being home. If you're just tired of this thing, tell God, I am tired. Just read the Psalms. That's the prayer of the Psalms. That's the prayer of the book of Lamentation. Just that is what it is. That is the cry of Jesus on the cross. If you feel abandoned, that is what he felt. Take a pencil, take a paper, draw your feelings. Say, if I could draw my feelings, what shape would it have? Close your eyes and draw the shape. If I had to say something to somebody, my feelings had to say something to somebody, who it would say to? Write the person name, do it in codes. What would it say? If you're tempted to say a bad word, I'm begging you, don't say the bad word. Put X, 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 R, R, I down. Don't put any bad word down, but get it out. I'm not telling you to manipulate yourself, but get it out. Right? And give it to God. And then do the next process. If I have to change this feeling, God, how would I change it? So think, how would you change it? What would I do to change it? And if I had to say something better than I said, how could I rewrite that sentence to represent more of who I am? Because I believe everybody has the best in them, but there are circumstances that bring out the worst. So what do we do to recapture the best in us? What do we really do to recapture the best in us? So do those processes. And don't forget, reach out. There is a youth somewhere around the corner that needs somebody to call them. Call them. There is a youth somewhere around the corner that it would be safe to go and visit an old lady or man who is shut in, that maybe needs somebody to go buy their grocery or clean their yard. Do something for somebody. Get out of what tempts us to be selfish, what tempts us to be purposeless, what tempts us to loathe, to use an old spiritual word, to be lazy. Get out of that. Get out of that. Every day, ask yourself, what will help bring out the best in me? The best for myself, remember, relationship with self, the best for other people, and the best for God. And if you're doing it for yourself, you're doing it for others, you're doing it for God, guess what? You live in the commandment that says, which is the greatest? Love God, love others as you love yourself. Do that. Try that recipe and tell me what that cake would taste like. Try the recipe. Tell me if you would like that drink. But don't give in.
Yeah, it's a lovely way that you have shared, and some really important tips that you and Joachim both shared in helping, especially youths, to cope with this in this time of COVID. Now, in closing, I'd really like to thank you, Sister Julie and Joachim, for being on our Season of Creation Challenge talk today on engaging youths. I mean, it's really admirable and inspirational, and the work that both of you have been doing in connection and how you could get youths engaged, especially in the environment today. And we want to continue this conversation. Sister Julie is sharing really important points that all of us could take home. And we have homework to do. I can surely tell you we have homework to do. And I know that you'll be following up with us on this homework. So on next week, Tuesday, September the 22nd at 3 p.m., we want to continue this conversation with Sister Julie and the CIC Environmental Club, Jonathan Koo, who will be joining us on the topic of ecological conversion, behold the earth with new eyes and new hearts. So we are really looking forward to that program next week, Tuesday, with CIC Environmental Club in Trinidad, that is St. Mary's College, Port of Spain, and Sister Julie Marie Peters, who's the sister of the Sorrowful Mother and director of the Institute. So in closing, I would like to invite both of you and our viewers and whoever is listening on today to participate and to encourage your schools, your parishes, your youth groups, or whichever community that you serve in, to encourage others to participate in the Season of Creation online challenge. And there are 4 categories that you can choose from, which is literature, visual arts, agricultural project, and an open category based on the theme, Jubilee for the Earth. So you can submit your entries to admin@franciscaninstitute.org, and after we will be celebrating the winners and participants at the St. Francis Canticle Award ceremony on October the 17th. So thank you everyone for joining in, and tune in for next week's session on ecological conversion, behold the earth with new eyes and new hearts. Thank you.
Thank you.